A pleasant day to everyone. For our lesson, we have the security. And these are the objectives. In the end of this lesson, you students will understand the following. First is the securities. Second is the investment banking. Third is the securities trading. Fourth, trading participants. Fifth, we also have local exchanges. And also we have the foreign exchanges. Now, what is securities? When we talk about securities with a definition, a security is a financial instrument, typically any financial asset that can be traded. The nature of what can and can't be called a security generally depends on the jurisdiction and the assets are being traded. So once we talk about security, it's about the financial instruments that have different representation of type of value, usually in the form of stocks, bonds, or an option. Now, let's talk about securities trading. Trading securities is a category of securities that includes both debt securities and equity securities, in which an entity intends to sell in the short term for a profit that it expects to generate from increases in the price of the securities. Again, going back to the category of trading securities, we have the debt securities. A debt securities is a type of financial asset that is created when a party lends money to another. Like for example, we have the corporate bonds. These are debt securities issued by the corporation and sold to investors. So, investors, they lend money to corporation in return for pre-established number of interest payment along with the return of their principal upon the bond's maturity's date. Another thing in debt securities is we have the government bonds. So, like what we discussed in our previous topic, this kind of bonds or this kind of debt securities again issued by the government and sold to investors, and then again the investors will lend money to the government in return for interest payment or what we call the coupon payments, and in return of their principal upon the bonds maturities. And again, when it comes to debt securities, this is also known as fixed income securities. Why? Because they generate a fixed stream of income from their interest payment, unlike equity investments, in which the return earned by the investor is dependent on the market performance of the equity issuer. So, si debt instrument guaranteed that the investor will receive repayment of their initial principal, in addition with the predetermined stream of interest payment. So because of this, of course, this contractual guarantee does not mean that debt securities are without risk. Again, may risk pa rin ito since the issuer of the debt security could declare bankruptcy or default in their agreements. So having this kind of securities, which is debt again, obviously meron tayo ditong risk, no? So because the borrower is legally required to make this payment, debt securities are generally considered to be less risky form of our investment. If we can compare it to equity investment, example, yung mga equity investment is we have the stocks, mga ganyan. So of course, it's always the case in investing. So when we talk about the true risk of the particular security will depend on specific characteristics of our investment. Now, the difference of debt securities in our equity securities is that equity securities represent a claim on the earnings and the assets of a corporation. However, yung debt securities naman are investment in debt instrument. So, like for example, yung mga stocks, no, is an equity or what we call equity security, while the bond is the debt security. When an investors buy a corporate bond, they are essentially loaning a corporation money and have the right to repay the principal and interest on the bond. So in contrast, When someone buys stocks from a corporation, they essentially buy a piece of the company. If the company profits, the investor profit as well. Pero syempre, kung hindi, if they suffer from losses, okay, so obviously, the stock also lose money. Now, let's proceed with the investment banking. Here, investment banking is a special segment of banking operation that helps individuals or organization to raise capital, and also the bank will provide financial consultancy services to them. So it's either these are the corporation, these are the part of the government or public services, or let's say even the um, ordinary people or yung mga individual who have let's say initial financial concern regarding with their economical life. So now, ano po ba ang ino-offer ng mga banks or tinatawag natin na investment bank? Investment banking is among the most complex financial mechanism in the world. Why? Because they serve many different purposes and also business entities. They provide various type of financial entities. Ano-ano yung mga ito? Such as, let's say, proprietary trading or trading security for their own accounts. They also have the so-called mergers and acquisition advisory, which involve helping organization. What are the functions of a bank? Or paano nangyayari yung tinatawag na investment bank? And these are the clients of the bank. Okay? So, first is the, let's say, government. So, sa government, the investment banks work with the government to raise money, trade securities, or even buy or sell crown corporations. And for the corporates or the corporation, bankers work with both private or even initial public offering. So the banks will raise additional capital, grow your business or grow the company's or corporation businesses. They can also make acquisitions, sell business units, and provide research for them and general corporate finance advice. In terms of the institutions, banks also work with them. Okay, so in banks, right? So again, they work or the banks work with the institutional investors who manage other people's money to help them trade securities and provide research. They also work with private equity firms to help them acquire portfolio companies, and we have the stock exchange, we have the trading participant, we have the investors, under which also these are connected with the transfer agents, the depository, the clearinghouse, and even the statement banks. So now let's talk about the stock exchange. So once we talk about stock exchange, it is an organization that have a marketplace or facility that brings buyers and sellers together and facilitates the sale and even the purchase of a stocks. The only stock exchange operating here in the Philippines is the PSE or the Philippine Stock Exchange Incorporated. It makes sure that trading transactions are done in a efficient, orderly, fair, and transparent manner. It also have enforced rules and regulation that is publicly listed company and trading participants must strictly abide by that. And this way, the Philippine Stock Exchange will fulfill its function as the guardian of the Philippine stock market. Now, let's talk about with the investors. So, see, investors, they're the one who so-called buying share, or they are also referred as stockholders or the shareholders, those who own shares of stock of a publicly listed company. They are accorded certain privileges like the right to bear an equal statement and the right to vote and exercise related rights. So the right to receive dividends and other benefits due to stockholders. They are accorded certain privileges like the right to fair of equal treatment, the right to vote and exercise related rights, and the right to receive dividends and other benefits due to stockholders. There are also classified as either retail or institutional and local or even foreign. Next is we have the stockbrokers. Okay, so yung mga tinatawag nating stockbrokers, they are one of the participants no of having trading, okay? So that they can perform a certain job being a stockbroker. Yung mga stockbrokers natin, okay, they are a so-called agent also that is or that are between with the buying stockbrokers. They obviously receive from their clients either buying or selling commission. Broker, okay, they have two types of broker. So yung traditional and also online. So yung mga traditional, those who assign a licensed salesman to handle your account and to take your order via written instruction or a phone call. However, we also have in the internet where clients execute their order and access market information online. Now, we also have the clearinghouse. So in clearinghouse or the Securities Clearing Corporation of the Philippines is wholly owned subsidiary of the exchange. It was established to ensure the orderly settlement of the equity trades executed at the PSE. So, ang kanilang responsibility naman is to establish the cash and also the securities liabilities and entitlements of its clearing members. It's either this is synchronizing the settlement of the funds and the transfer of securities based on the delivery, guaranteeing the settlement of trades in event of the trading participants' trade defaults in order to ensure the finality and the irrevocability of all exchange trades through its fails management procedures, implementing appropriate risk management measures in order to mitigate risks inherent in the clearing and settlement of exchange trades, and the maintenance and administration of the clearing and also the trading guarantee fund. Another thing is we have the depository. So in depository, this is handled by the Philippine Depository and Trust Corporation. So the acts as a security depository or custodian of a listed share of stock that are traded at the PSE. It was organized to establish a central depository in the Philippines and also to implement scriptless trading. Now, what are the things that they are performed? First is that from sellers to buyers accounts during settlement of exchange rates. The second one is the from one PDTC or the Philippine Depository and Trust Corporation participant to other per client's instruction. And the third one from lenders to borrower's account for loan transactions. And then another participants is we have the settlement banks. The PSE or the so-called Philippine Stock Exchange has a 3 accredited banking institution where trading participants make and receive payment for stock transaction. So these settlement banks accept deposit of funds of payment and securities, but confirm payment of due clearing obligation to SCCP. Debit buyers' cash account and credit sellers' cash account during settlements, and receive and or even return cash collateral put up by clearing members to cover their daily trade negative exposure. And for the last, we have the transfer agent. So now, the job of the transfer agent is to consider the official keeper of the corporate shareholders' record. The stock transfer agent provides the issuer or the listed company with a list of holders of its security. They affect transfer of beneficial ownership and process corporate action like stocks or cash dividends, stock rights, stock splits, and collation of proxy forms. Talk about exchanges. Again, we have the foreign and also we have the local.
The Philippine Stock Exchange is the only equities exchange in the country. It is one of the oldest stock exchanges in Asia, tracing its roots from the establishment of the Manila Stock Exchange in 1927 and the Makati Stock Exchange in 1963. The two exchanges were unified in 1992 to form the PSE we know today. It currently maintains a trading floor at the PSE Tower in Bonifacio Global City, Taguig City. The PSE is a venue for companies to raise capital for business expansion. As of end 2020, there are 272 listed companies at the PSE. The PSE also serves as the marketplace for investors looking for equity-based financial instruments. It helps investors build their wealth as stock investments have the potential to grow over time. Investors make money in the stock market through price appreciation and dividends. The PSE helps maintain a fair and transparent market through its continuing disclosure requirements for listed companies. Meantime, its independent subsidiary, the Capital Markets Integrity Corporation, oversees and regulates trading participants. Trading at the PSE is open Monday to Friday except on holidays. The PSE currently observes shortened trading hours from 9:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. Investors who would like to invest in stocks will need to open an account with any of the 126 accredited stock brokerage firms. Visit the PSE website at www.pse.com.ph or follow our official social media accounts to know more about investing in the stock market.
Next is we have the Philippine Dealing and Exchange Corporation. So the PDEX was incorporated in 2003 to provide trading infrastructure for the fixed income or the FI and even the foreign exchange or what we call the FX markets. As an SEC registered FI securities market, it facilitates the operation of the organized secondary market for the trading of FI securities, which includes both government and corporate securities. And now we have here the foreign exchange. And for us to comprehend more, let's watch this video.
If you have ever traveled to a foreign country, you may have needed to exchange your money. If so, you have already participated in Forex trading. Forex is the short form of foreign exchange. Well, Forex is a bit more than that. For example, companies buy goods from other countries. In order to buy them, they need to obtain the local currency first, just like us when going on holiday. The difference is they will exchange huge amounts. When these companies exchange these huge amounts, they will actually move the price because the demand for the currency that they need increases. When the demand increases, the price increases. With all this exchanging going on around the world, the exchange rates constantly move. This is how it works. When currencies are exchanged, they have a certain price, the exchange rate. As in any market, the price of a currency is determined by the law of supply and demand. If there are many people or companies that want to change euros into dollars, the price of the dollar will rise against the euro, and so the exchange rate will change. Let's use an everyday example to explain how you can actually profit from this. Say you live in Europe and went on holiday to the United States. Let's say that you changed your 500 euros into US dollars at the rate of $1.4 for every euro. You got 700 US dollars, but you do not spend any money at all. So you still have $700 after you come back. After the exchange rate moved from 1.4 to 1.3, instead of getting just 500 euros back, you actually get 538.5 euros. You have gained 38.5 euros simply from holding your money in dollars while the exchange rate changed. This is essentially how we trade in the Forex market. We buy a certain amount of a currency, hold on to it whilst the exchange rate moves, then change it back, making money along the way. How to decide when the right time to buy and sell is exactly what we teach you throughout the rest of our learning lessons. As you can imagine, traveling a lot and saving a bit of money on your holiday budget and then exchanging it, it's not really a practical approach to trading currencies. Fortunately, there is an easier way to do this. You can trade currency through online exchange offices called brokers. What this means is that you can exchange currencies online throughout the day and take advantage of the constantly fluctuating exchange rates. Just as in the example of when you went on holiday, you can buy different currencies and make a profit as the exchange rates change. This is trading the Forex market. Trading Forex online with a broker has many benefits. You can trade Forex from your home or anywhere that you have an internet connection. The Forex market never sleeps. It is open 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, and so can suit your daily routine. You do not need a huge budget to get started. As little as $150 is enough to begin trading and building your account over time. Of course, it will require some learning until you get there, but this is exactly what Tradimo is here for. To help you learn how to trade in a way that can suit your individual lifestyle, and to help you navigate your way through the Forex market.
Thank you so much for listening. Any questions? I highly appreciate it.